My name is Helen Keller. I cannot hear or see. I am deaf. I use my hands to communicate. I am blind. I use my hands to see. But it wasn't always this way. When I was born on June 27th, 1880, I could hear and see. I became very sick when I was just a baby. I lost my hearing and my sight. From that day on, I could neither hear nor see. As I grew up, I could not tell my mother and father what I wanted. This made me angry and frustrated. I would kick, scream, and cry. I needed to learn a way to tell others what I wanted and needed. When I was 6 years old, Alexander Graham Bell, the famous inventor of the telephone, helped my parents find a teacher for me. Mr. Bell wanted to help deaf children. My teacher's name was Anne Sullivan. She came to live with us. Her first task was to teach me manners. Anne taught me the sign language alphabet. Sign language is a way to communicate using fingers and hands. Anne believed that if I knew letters, I would be able to learn words. One day, Anne put her hands in mine and signed the letters for doll, D-O-L-L. Then she gave me a doll to hold. I used my hands to feel the doll, but I did not connect it to the letters D-O-L-L. Anne tried again while we were at the water pump. She took one of my hands and placed it under the water. She spelled W-A-T-E-R in my other hand. I felt the water and suddenly understood. W-A-T-E-R meant water. Now that I understood that letters work together to make words, I could learn to read. I used my fingers to feel raised dots on a page. The dots, called Braille, stood for letters. This made it possible for me to read without my eyes. Even though I had learned better ways to communicate, I was not satisfied. I wanted to communicate using my voice. Anne introduced me to Sarah Fuller, the principal at a school for the deaf in Boston, Massachusetts. Sarah let me touch her nose, throat, and mouth. I felt the vibrations when she spoke. I learned to imitate the vibrations in my own nose, throat, and mouth to say words. I'll never forget my first spoken sentence. It is warm. I grew up and went to college. I was the first deaf and blind person to graduate from college. The day I learned what WATER meant was the day I felt hope and joy for the first time. I wanted to help others like me find hope and joy. I spent the rest of my life helping the deaf and blind. In 1964, President Lyndon Johnson awarded me the Presidential Medal of Freedom for my work. Helen Keller learned to communicate by using her fingers to feel and form letters of the alphabet. She felt the letters in her hand as her teacher, Anne Sullivan, finger-spelled words like WATER using the American Manual Alphabet. The American Manual Alphabet is part of American Sign Language, ASL. Featuring hand signs for whole words and ideas, ASL is considered a native language to many people who are deaf or hard of hearing. It is also a vital form of communication for those with friends or family who use their hands to speak. Louis Braille was blinded in a childhood accident. When he grew up, he invented a special alphabet for people who were blind, like himself, so they could read with their fingers. This alphabet is still in use today. In the Braille alphabet above, the black dots represent those that would be raised up on a page for visually impaired readers to touch and recognize as letters. Individuals read by feeling each letter with their fingertips. Imagine how hard it would be to learn to read if you couldn't see or hear. Thank you, little explorers, for traveling alongside Helen Keller's incredible story. Remember, kindness and curiosity light our way, even when the path seems dark. Can't wait to learn with you again.